Welcome to the Nordic Mythology Podcast. I'm Daniel Farron, co-owner of the company Horns of Odin, and I'm joined, as always, by Dr. Mathias Nordvig.
Hello, everyone. Today we're joined by Varg Saastad, who is part of the band Våluspá in Norway. Welcome to the show, Varg.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us. I know is it your wife that we had on, or are you just partners?
We're just partners, but I haven't proposed yet, so that will be our little secret.
That's coming up. So the Viking Queen was the episode. I think a couple of months ago. And we got a lot of good feedback on that. A lot of people liked Sól. It was a really fun episode.
Great.
So I was looking forward to having you on the other half of the duo.
Yeah, great. We have had a lot to do with being parents and growing with the role. He has been a lot of work, and Tyr has been. When he was born, he was a little sick, so we were on the intensive care with him. So it was quite a start, but he is healthy now, and thank the gods for giving him the strength. And he is a big boy already, I can assure you. He's 6.5 months, and he looks like he's 1 year old. So he's
wow.
He's got some real Viking milk.
That's it. Yeah. No, I'm glad he's well. I'm glad he's good and well. That's good to hear.
Yeah. No, that's that. I mean, so my wife's pregnant right now, and we're expecting.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
This is why I need a soundboard so I can drop like little bombs and stuff.
Yeah.
Sound clips. I keep hinting, and I'm hoping Shannon's going to name me one week, but I think it probably will annoy him more than anything.
So you wanted to add like a little titter kind of
thing? like a foghorn or something. I don't think you've mentioned it on the podcast yet.
Maybe I haven't.
Add it afterwards.
Yes, we can always add it afterwards.
That's not as fulfilling as me having a little button I can press.
That's true.
There's something quite satisfying to think about having a little. I feel like in a bit of power, bit of control.
Yeah.
I mean, you having a child together is as good as marriage, I guess. Anyway, there's nothing. I don't think there's anything more that bonds people together than a child. Than I don't think people. Well, I mean, like I'm married. We don't have children, but I think a child is a big thing. You can't. It's really important.
It's the birth, giving birth to a human. It was like if something is a ritual, that is a ritual, because it's to experience this together with your best friend, which she is my best friend, and
you're saying all the right things. She's going to listen back to this.
No, but it's true. It's true. I have. It was a great experience, actually. The birth was a great experience. So between what we say rier, when the pain is on, we had a laugh, and we talked about other things, and it was just two friends being together and doing this crazy thing. And when I first saw Tyr, it was like just in a second I felt like I have been a father forever. So we are so lucky as humans, as animals, to have instincts that helps us with these things, because you don't know what you are going to be before you're in the situation yourself.
No, I have a few close friends who've had children recently, and they say the same, that it's just an instant thing. You just become protective, I guess. Unfounded love is just
all of a sudden how to clean, and how to clean up, and do all the things, and you can do it like this. But those who are listening who don't know, I already also have another kid, so I've been through the whole process before, and you're totally right. It's like an instinct that just kicks in, and you know what you're doing at any point,
and it's easy because it's all out of love. So it's no questions about it. You just do it, and you enjoy it. So to those of you who listen who don't have children, it's going to be fine. The only thing you will need to ask friends and families to, help you with the small things in life when you are occupied with this new role.
Mm-hmm.
So make your mother clean the floor for you again a few times, just so you can have a break. That's the only thing. Make some food, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, I think having people around you help out definitely must help with the strains, I guess. Just having a little bit of a break.
Just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. How's baby? Do you say his name is Tia?
Tia.
How's he affected the music and being able to push that forward and keep making new content, I guess?
Well, as any other thing in life, when you experience big things, you get another dimension of your emotions. And when you tap into other dimensions of your emotions, you get inspired at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he has changed anything, but he has definitely made me feel new things that I'm not sure how it will be yet, but I know that there is coming. I've been more settled, so I feel that I have better time, so I use more time to get my productions even better than before, because before when I was, what can I say, I started out in 2017 by producing music myself, and from 2017 to now I have become a much better producer.
Mm-hmm.
So being a father has given me some, what can I say, more healthy perspective on time.
Okay. Yeah.
That was what I was trying to say.
I think that makes sense.
Absolutely. So are you finding you get more time to produce? I thought it might be less.
Yeah, I get less time to produce, but when I'm not so stressed when I produce, so I use more time on certain things than I used to do before, because I just wanted to clash it down because I wanted to hear the song now. I didn't have time to didn't have the experience to really produce something good at the level that I'm doing right now. So I'm really looking forward to share more music in the future.
Perfect. So I guess you're getting maybe better quality time rather than that's good.
Yeah.
And I guess experience always helps. The more you do something, the more experience you get. And
perspective. It's all about perspective, and you get a more healthy perspective on time when you are a parent than you were before. At least for me, it's not. It's not for everyone. It's my personal experience, of course.
Perfect. So, where did you start? Where did this all come from? Because do you just do the composing of the music, or are you playing the instruments? You singing? Are you how involved?
I basically do everything. It has been a journey for me, because the first time I found music, I was a child. So I started to play some keys piano when I was about 12, I think 11, 12. And, the guys wanted me to play football instead. So I did that for a year, but it wasn't for me. Sports is great, but if you want to be good at something, you have to focus on that one thing. Very
absolutely
often. So it went from there to what I said before. You start to having some issues and some questions when you are a young boy, maybe a little angry on the society and the establishment and Christianity and things like that, and you start to ask questions about where do we come from and what is our religion and culture, and you get names like Thor and Odin. And at first this is some fairy tale that you heard about in school, and then you get more into it and more serious about it, because, for example, was into black metal at the point for a few years, and I played drums in a black metal band called Sect. And when you're a young man and you play black metal, individualism is important. That you don't need anyone to help you think. You are going to find out things for yourself. And that have some similarities to Odin when he hangs himself in the tree. He's doing a sacrifice for the insights that he wants to get. And so there it started. It started with black metal, and I composed very much of the riffs in Sect, and I also played the drums. So from there on, I really understood that, okay, since I can do both guitar and the drums, then I must have some quality to me. That it's a quality to get to know more instrument than just one.
Oh, absolutely.
So I just needed that to explore what more can I learn.
Is this all self-trained, or did you have formal training as well?
I had a few guitar classes on school, but that's it. After that, I like to pluck the guitar and find new ways to play it, not only the standard D, C, F, G, just wanted to, where can I make it sound more exciting and different? So
that boggles my mind. That's I have no musical talent, and I would love to, and I tried when I was young. I tried to pick up guitar and teach myself and got a bunch of guitar books.
But you have the carving. You have your horn carving. That's a talent.
I do now, but like I say, with music, it was just I just couldn't get it. I just don't think my head or my brain works that way. So I'm always extremely envious of people who can just teach themselves. I have a friend who he must just have musical ears. I don't know how else to put it, because he just picks up a guitar and he can play it, or sit on a piano and figure it out. And I'm just like, how the fuck do you do that?
I've been pretty incompetent with music throughout my life too, but I bet you that if I sat down to learn, some basic guitar stuff with somebody who could teach me, I would probably learn it by now. I used to have the same attitude towards math. I mean, can't really count to more than 5. But nowadays, like, I've sort of learned how to do basic algebra as well.
No, but I think some people just have that talent where they can just replicate what they hear. It doesn't matter. It's not, they don't have to be taught it. Maybe they get taught like a couple of basic things. But they can hear something. I think the famous example is Elton John, when he was like 11, went to music school, and he went into the hall, and there was the people doing the interview she was playing the piano, and she was like, you come over and sit down and play a song for us. And he went over and played the exact same song she was playing. And when he finished, she was like, oh, well, do you know what the song's called? He's like, I have no idea. I just heard you playing it, and I just repeated it. And that's the kind of skill that some people just have. It's just, I guess it's just natural. You can't teach that. They hear something and they know how to figure it out.
I'm not that good.
No, you say you are.
But it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time to get there. So they say that 10,000 hours before your mind is really set and trained to hear it in that sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
You could give me 20,000 hours and I'm not playing I'm not playing a guitar.
I'm currently training my left hand to draw. I mean, I can draw with my right hand, but I'm training my left hand to draw as well, so I could be ambidextrous. I'm doing some pretty decent dot shading, so that's also, you have to fine tune the muscles in your hand, and also teach your brain to work with the left hand instead. But it's coming along.
But why?
Right?
Why not? What if I lose my right hand, man?
I mean,
I just bought a chainsaw. You never know what kind of accidents I can run into.
You can draw from the both sides and inwards and see where.
Oh, I mean, that would be good. That would be impressive if you could do that.
Yeah.
I've seen some tattoo artists who draw like when they do freehand tattoos, to draw with both hands, like on a person's arm or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty impressive.
That is impressive. Yeah, I couldn't do that. I could not do that. Okay, so let's get back to the musical journey.
Yeah, but I can't draw at all. You know, the guys laugh at me when I when I try to draw anything.
Mm-hmm. I'm also like that. It's insane. I can carve on a horn, but when it comes to drawing with a pen and paper, I suck.
But the horns, and I did a few goat horns for playing on music.
Oh, nice.
And I gave one horn actually in gift for the band Calandra, if you heard of them. They use it on one of their latest music video, actually.
Oh, nice.
I've been telling Dan that we need to bring them on at some point.
Yeah, I think Gabriella has been reaching out to them. Yeah, hopefully they will be joining us at some point. But no, that's really cool. I mean, I would love to make you like a cow war horn that you can use in something.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
Great. Yeah.
There we go. Let's do that. Okay, so
great.
Yeah, we'll talk after, and I'll sort you something out.
Great.
Perfect. So we're back. Let's get back to your musical journey. I guess you're in a black metal band, and you are mad at the world. It seems
you're an angry young man.
Yeah, I was an angry young man. Now I'm as I said, I am. You asked if I had someone asking about the bad Varg.
Oh, okay. So to put that into context, before the show, I asked Varg whether if anybody had ever confused him with, I don't know how to pronounce his last name,
Varg Vikernes.
Yeah, because to Brits and to Americans, which a lot of our audience are, Varg isn't a very common name.
Yeah.
So the only two I've ever really heard of are you and Varg Vikernes, who is a cunt. So I wonder whether anybody, especially you've both been into music and especially into metal music, I just wonder whether anybody had ever seen you and kind of gone, oh, that must be the bad Varg.
No, we don't look the same and we don't sound the same. So and he is much older than I am. So you know, it's that's
good, but sometimes a lot of people don't do research before they shout at people.
That's true.
So even though you could be completely different, and
but then it's even more funny.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. No. I mean, actually, I don't know if Varg is particularly common outside of Norway. Even like, it's not common in Denmark. Not sure about Sweden. I don't think there's a lot of people who use it in Sweden. I don't know about Iceland though. So it's one of those names that I've always like associated very distinctly with Norway, because it is, you know, a decently common name in Norway. That you run into people named Varg all the time.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
And for those who don't know, the name means wolf too. So it's a pretty cool name.
Oh, it is a cool name.
Yeah, I like it very much. And it says a lot about me. I used to be outsider and a lone wolf when I was both in school and other places, because I was the guy who listening to Metallica all the time and go by myself because I was more into my own thinking than socializing. That was me.
I think there's probably a lot of people listen to this podcast. I was probably saying I was very much into rock music, and it wasn't the kind of very popular. I just get called a mosher. I don't know if is that a word. Is that something that's in Norway and Denmark?
Mosher.
Yeah.
Mosher. It's like somebody who listens to rock music, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's distinctly sort of like associated with moshing in a mosh pit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
I guess.
But I know of the term.
Yeah,
like, it makes sense.
That was what we got called in my school. I feel like we keep getting sidetracked. Okay, so you're in a metal band and you are an angry young man. So how do you get from there to where you are now? I think it's good when we get sidetracked.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not. I'm going to tell this story because it's a sad story, but I want to tell it anyways, because it may have some value to someone. Okay.
I'm not gonna cry.
No,
because I'm a soft boy. So if it's a sad story, I might cry.
I will try to keep it short, so you don't cry.
No, it's okay. I don't mind. I haven't cried yet.
But it was back in 2014 when I had quit the sect band, and I was working a lot, and yeah. And my brother, he was younger than me, my little brother. He was at that time 19, and I know he was into a lot of bad environment and bad people, and he was doing some drugs also. So I didn't really have that connection and deep contact with him anymore, because we lived at different places and so on. But I had been to Germany it was February 2014, and we were with a business trip to Germany. And you know, when you are on a business trip, you drink a lot and party hard, and we had a great time. But so when I came home, I was quite exhausted by all the fun. And suddenly, just after a few hours when I came home, I got a phone call. And I pick up the phone and say hello. And I don't remember his name, but he said that he was the local priest. And when he said he was a priest, I understand that this is not good.
Mm-hmm.
So he said that your brother is he is passed, and I'm here now with your mother, and I could only imagine how she was. So I said to her, said to the priest that just stay with her for a while. I will be there as soon as I can. So I just jumped into the car and went home.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to see anybody like that, you know, experience something like that. You don't want to see it. It's terrible, especially if it's someone you know. So this had such an impact on me, you know. It changed me fundamentally, because it's like, I think it's in some way similar to being in war, and you see people around you are being shot and they die right at the spot because there are someone who is close to you. And when someone is close to you or dying, you understand quite a lot about time and life. Life teaches you a lesson right there, and you can't do anything about it. So after sometimes you get the impact later, because at the moment I needed to take care of my family and my mother, of course, and practical things. So I really got the hit in the head in 2017, early 17.
I guess that took a while for you to get it. I guess your grief process as well.
We all grieve differently
when
something like that happens. So it's important to understand, because it's so different from person to person.
Oh, absolutely. I think everybody has to grieve as well in their own way. And I think it can be really detrimental if you don't grieve. Because I know Sarah, my wife, she lost her mum when she was 12, I think. And I don't think she ever got a chance to properly grieve, because her dad's a pretty tough Yorkshireman, so he never tried to shed any tears in front of her. So she never really got a chance to grieve up until adulthood. And I know that's kind of affected her. So you always have to grieve at some point. It comes out eventually, whether it's 2 years later or it's 20 years later. It eventually does come.
And especially when you're, that young, that you don't have all the like the emotional bandwidth to process those things and work with them, right? So you need a lot of help too. Absolutely. I mean, now that we're talking about it, my father died when I was 17, so and I know exactly how that worked out. Like that was a lot of like wasted years trying to figure shit out afterwards. That's tough. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And then you start again to ask questions about things. So okay, yeah. I asked a lot of questions when I was young, but now you're asking even bigger questions, fundamental existential questions about time. What is a soul? What is why does time even go forward? So a big philosophical bomb dropped right into my head. And then I understand I've used so much time on music. And if you don't continue to, follow your dream, if you don't continue to work on yourself, then life is nothing. It has no value anymore. So that was really important to me. Okay, I'm going to invest my time in music. I'm going to invest my time in the few people that I want to have in my life. And I'm going to invest my time in myself, in my own dreams. Because
that's a brilliant point, because any investment in yourself is never a wasted investment. And that's so true. You can't back yourself enough. And it's hard to do because people get tied down with real life things, they're working, they've got children, and it's hard to follow what you want to do. But sometimes you have to just back yourself and do what you want. And unfortunately, sometimes it takes the loss of somebody or a tragic event that really kicks people up the ass to think, you only get one shot at this, so let's try and do what you've got to do.
It's true. That's true.
Fear,
it's too late when you're lost your limbs. Then it's too late, yeah. Or when you're 70 years old, it's probably too late. Yeah. So you got now, and now is your one shot. So sometimes, as you said, sometimes you have to get a real punch in the face to be a better person even.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely.
I think a lot of people are held back by, this fear. You have a dream, but you're worried that, if I start pursuing that dream, what kind of life will I have? How will life turn out? Will I have the same things that I have now? Will I lose things? All that stuff, right? So yeah, of course, that these very these moments that make you consider existence, ponder existence itself, right? They can be that catalyst to basically seize the day, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I know that all too well from growing horns of Odin. From I started on my kitchen table and I made like a single horn, and it grew, but that kept growing to the point where it was big enough where I probably should have gone full time with it, but I was just too scared, and I was held back by the fear of thinking, what if it doesn't work? What if it goes wrong? What if all this stuff happens? And I just kept going, and I was killing myself trying to do two jobs, pretty much two full-time jobs. And at one point I was just like, I've got to do it because I've spent all this time, and it was impacting the quality of the business. So I kind of just had to do it. But you just sometimes have to trust yourself, I guess. And the other thing is, I think when you take that leap, something changes in your mind, because you can't fail. You get put in a position where it's okay, now I'm doing this, I have to work hard, I have to get things done, because there is no backup. Whilst you've always got that backup of another job, you can always kind of let off the gas a little bit. But when you're all in, and you've got to give it a really good go. And if it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world, but at least you can sit there and go, I tried. At least I had a go.
You really want to fail on something you like than failing on something you don't like. Yeah, I think it was Carrie who said it or something. But that, and you cultivate yourself day by day, and at some point you may be certain, on what you are going to do or not. So I'm not saying that quit your day job and become a rock star overnight or something like that, because
No, it has to be realistic.
No, what you're actually saying is that if you want to quit your day job to become a rock star, it will take you 10,000 hours of training.
Yeah, and you have to cultivate yourself and be ambitious. But 10,000 hours, it's not very much if you start early and you use maybe 10 minutes to a quarter or maybe an hour a day. And when you sum it up, it will be, at some point, it will be 10,000 hours. So it's just to start, get the wheel running, you know?
Oh, there'll be so many people listening to this that are already doing something they love, but just don't have the confidence to take the leap.
Fake it till you make it.
That's it. And it's, you also get imposter syndrome. I get it. Like I still get it now with Thorns of Odin. I'm like, fuck, because if I'm doing this full time, this is definitely going to disappear at some point. I shouldn't be doing this. So you get that guilt almost of succeeding.
No, but
Right.
if you can, if the work you do doesn't lead to anything, it could possibly inspire someone else to do a change and a difference in the world. So it's not necessarily a loss, even though you don't succeed with what you are doing.
You always learn, no matter what. Even if you fail at something, you will always learn something from it, and it will benefit you in some way at some point.
And this is the Odinistic thought for me, to get into the Norse mythology topic again, because it's about doing a sacrifice, you know, giving your eye, hanging a tree, whatever you want to do, because when you do this sacrifice, you will eventually have something in return.
So, and it might not be necessarily what you wanted or what you were aiming for.
Exactly.
But sometimes, you know, the world works in a weird way. When I was 17, 18, I didn't think I was going to have a business making drinking horns and war horns and carving them and then have clothing. You know, that was never in my mind. I thought I was going to be like a plumber, I was a plumber for a while, but then maybe going to the fire service or something like that. I never fucking thought this would happen. I don't know at what point I'd made a right turn, but, you know.
I think it's great. I think it's great that you do it.
I mean, I can relate. I don't think that, you know, when I was a 14-year-old that I would have become at that time I would have realized that, oh, in the future I'll be teaching Nordic mythology and all that kind of stuff at a university. Like what?
So Varg,
I just wanted to mention something, Varg, since you got into this whole the subject of Nordic mythology again. I was when we were talking about this, I was reminded of those two memento mori stanzas that Odin has in Hávamál. Is it 74 and 75 or 75 and 76? I can never remember, but it's he says "Die fjä, die fiender, die självaren sama," right? So like cattle will die,
kinsmen
family die. Kinsmen die, and one day you will die yourself, right? That's really like a kick to the teeth in terms of all of this. Like you need to remember that you will die one day, so you have to seize the opportunity in life.
It's the essence of life, is that you have a certain time. It's the biology, your inner clock. It's there, and we all have it. We don't know when things going to hit, but we know that we have that inner clock. And that is also what they are trying to say in the old scriptures, is that make your time valuable. Even if it's helping other people or creating something, having a family, just do something and leave the world a better place when you're gone. That's the essence of being human, you know.
I think also just do things that you enjoy.
Yeah,
because so many people just don't do things that they enjoy. They're either miserable in their marriage or miserable at work, miserable with other stuff, and they just don't give themselves any time in anything that they actually like doing, and that can't be a good thing. And I'm not saying, you know, a lot of people are unhappy in their job, so then you kind of say just pack it in and leave, but you can try and do something outside of that that at least brings you some happiness.
Exactly. And if you don't know what you like and you say that I don't know what hobby I want to have, then try something.
Yeah.
Ask a friend. Use Google. You know, you have the whole internet and the whole world is standing with open arms and say, hello, here. There are so many different amazing people to go to, you know? If you don't know, go find out.
Yeah, there's a lot of people,
so many possibilities.
A lot of people who will help you out as well. So it doesn't sound like you were necessarily brought up with the Nordic kind of mythology world around you. It was something you discovered as you got a little bit older.
Yeah, it has always been close to my heart, but I didn't really started to really dig into it before I was in the early 20s. Now I'm 32 soon to be. So now I've been digging into music, and I have made a few instruments myself because I thought that was a good way to really get to know how it should sound and how to play it, and maybe how to arrange it and use it in different songs and so on. So it has given me a lot of direction to make me certain of who I am and get in touch with my soul. So making instruments is a side hobby to create music itself.
So how did you go from black metal to the music you make now? Where did that switch come? Because it's completely different.
When you hear the tagelharpa, the bowed horsehair harp, it gives almost the same effect as the fuzz guitar has in metal, because it's that crunchy sound, and it's the heavy drums, you know, repeatedly. And this is the same feeling you get in many of the metal songs, especially the Norwegian black metal scene, which I came out from. So I actually found a lot of the same emotions and expressions in so-called Viking music without being evil. It didn't need to sound evil, but it sounded big. It sounded spectacular. You could have a time travel through the music, so it didn't need to be a modern type of music. It could be from any time, and that is when we talked about time earlier. And to me, music is this timeless space that I create for myself to meditate. So I get the same value out of this type of music, but now even more because of the timelessness and the roots. So I get healing from this music as well. It's like a healing ritual for me to play this music.
That's how I am with drawing. Like that, like I can relate so much to this, because you know, when I start drawing, I just like get into this space where that is completely timeless. I can sit for hours, and it's only afterwards I realize that I've been sitting for way too long, because all of a sudden, like, my entire arm is hurting, or my neck or something like that.
Shit, I haven't peed for hours. Like
yeah. This is just like Zoom.
You just lose yourself in the moment, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. So you said you make some instruments yourself?
Yeah, I thought I was going to show you one.
Okay, absolutely, yeah. So are these based on, are these just instruments that are out there that you've made, or are they like your own design, I guess, and concept?
I was on a course or a school at the place called Gjøvik in Norway, where I learned to build the Acrobatic Lyra, because I didn't have the money to buy one, and I didn't. It wasn't possible to get in contact with Sverre Heimdall, who builds the lyres for Vardruna, because I wanted to get one of those. So now I have two, but but at the time I had to have one because I wanted to make my own music on this type of instrument. So I built my own one.
That's brilliant. I love just the ingenuity of people that do that. It's like, I can't afford one, so I'm gonna make one.
Yeah, that was my strategy at the time. So now I've set instead of gut strings that I use nylon gut strings. I have on this one I use steel strings, because the strings when you use steel strings, the singing lasts a lot longer than the gut strings. So the gut strings are more soft and it's a different sound basically. So yeah, I will show it to you.
Yeah, no, I'm looking for. I think it's the first time we've like a show and tell of an instrument. Yeah. So for anybody listening, you will be able to watch this back on YouTube. I get lost when stuff like this happens. I just sit and watch.
Me too.
Oh, if you get the sound on here, but I will try to do my best.
Okay.
Oh, it's sorry.
It's all right. That kind of music just puts me in some sort of trance. I don't know what it is about it that I just kind of get lost. And
it was just a little out of tune because the strings are a little too thin. But on this one, for those who see the video, this is Acrobatic Lyra that I built it in. It was in 2018.
I mean, when you said you built it as well, that's it's quite on it to say that you just built it. If it was me that built it, it would just be very basic.
Yeah, but I had to have it. It was like obsession. I need that instrument now because I just you can't go and buy it in the store, and those what can I say? Other people who build it, it's expensive, because it takes a lot of work. So the course, it was over a 10-week period, I think. So I was there once in a week, over 10 weeks, and then it was finished. So I had it around Christmas time, 2018, I think.
Oh, that's wonderful. I imagine that I guess that probably means more to you than all the other instruments you have.
It has different value.
It's just nips to put it back. Right.
And here it is. This is the same lyre as Einar Selvik use. It was built by the same craftsman, Sverre Heimdall, and this is an exact copy of the found that they did in Kravik in Numedal in Norway. And this has gut strings, so it sounds a little different. So I thought I might demonstrate it just a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely interested to hear the difference, because you could get like that metally kind of sound
from the other one.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a mixture of guts and nylon.
Okay.
As you would use on nylon acoustic classical guitar, basically.
Yeah.
So here it is.
Can't help but smile when I hear stuff like that. god. You can certainly hear the difference.
Yeah.
Oh, Matthias is giving you a round of applause as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely get a difference between the two types of strings. I think I prefer the gut strings. There's just something
me too.
very soft about it, like you said.
Yeah, it's soft, and when you add when you add the tagelharpa, which is horsehair, then you get this crunching sound with the big skin drums, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's almost like you get into this metal world. It feels the same because it's dark and it's heavy and it's intense.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, no, I agree. I can feel that. Like that's it's the same sort of like way of relating to this type of music that I have, you know, coming from a black metal background myself, not as a musician but as a fan.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
So you said that that's based on a find.
It's an exact copy of the find that they did, and it's dated to around 1600. So it's the youngest middle-aged plucked instrument we know.
That's what I was going to ask, because I know we don't have anything from the Viking Age when it comes to musical instruments. So I was wondering that time period when that was found.
But we have you know, flutes, we have horns, and we have plucked strings, and we have bowed strings, and we of course have the drumming. Drumming is universal. So when you have all these elements and you combine it with a little bass and a little synth, it feels fantastic. It's magic. So
it's good to see how you can see your eyes light up when you speak about it. It's good to see this somebody that has that passion.
It is a passion, and it's the wrong word to say lifestyle, because I do what I do when I'm at work, and I do what I do when I'm a father, and but it's a passion, and it's something that lies. It's a part of my personality.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good. So where do you get your inspiration from for your music? Do you write all the music for Våluspá? And do you have your own side project? Is that like a solo?
Yeah, Fädrespår means.
I was not going to try and pronounce that.
No, it's if I was going to translate it, it's traces of the ancestors.
Oh, okay.
Possibly. And that was my solo project that I just needed to start when these things happened with my brother and so on.
Okay.
So that is a very personal, I do everything project. But now,
so did that start before Våluspá?
Yeah. So
okay.
Våluspá was Sol's project. She started to think about that project when she was around 19 or so, I think. So that has been her stone since then. And I have had my project with Sekt and with Fädrespår. So now that we have kind of mixed together and we have become a family, it's natural for us to, you know, what horse do we want to put our money on? And Våluspá is a great name. It's a known name, and we have played live with the band. So it was natural for us to continue working on that project together.
Absolutely. And I mean, Sól has such a beautiful voice. I said to her when she was on she really does have a remarkable voice that makes you sit up and listen. It's really special.
She has a signature voice. You hear when she sings, you know who sings when you hear it.
Yeah.
Like with Michael Jackson, you know, you hear that it's Michael Jackson.
Yeah. right. Yeah.
And that's very important. So no, that seems like it's a very good team.
Yeah, I feel so, and she feels so. So what we are going to do is we are going to be patient, and we're going to work in silence, and we're going to try to create the best possible product we can, and then we are going to further contact record companies and see what they want, if they want to sign with us. Because I understand that up to this point the production is not at the top, you know. It's not that professional. But what we are doing now, we have invested in a lot of new microphones, new Mac sound cards, monitors, everything. So now, and of course, the time to learn the production studio.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the project now. Be good at what we're doing. Pick the best songs we want to do and put it on an album. That's what we are doing now.
So do you do everything yourselves? So you make the music, record it, produce it, edit it, I guess.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I really get behind that kind of stuff as well. That's very raw, passionate. It's people who really want to do it. And you're going for it.
70% of the work now is just listening. Just listening to it. What can I do better? What can I do different? What can I put to it? What can I take away from it? You know, it's so a lot of the work is just listening to it.
I guess that helps because you can do exactly what you want to do with it. You're not having to try and relay that the vision you've got in your mind to somebody else who's editing and might chop it differently. Is that side something that you were interested in before, or is that something that you've had to get interested in because you're in a situation where you want to make the music, so you need to produce it, I guess, and edit it?
Yeah, that had to become an interest of mine, because when I was younger, I was asking people, do you know a cheap studio that I can use, or do you know any cheap producer, because I don't have any much money. And so at some point you said to yourself, you know, no one is going to help me. No one is going to pay for me. No one is owing me anything. So you have to go save the money, do the work, learn your shit, and just do what you want to do yourself. That's, sorry to say, that's life. No one is coming to pick you up.
Absolutely. And I think there's so many people who think of it completely differently these days, that have a chip on the shoulder, or think that somebody owes them something, or don't want to put the work in because of some reason they feel that they've been dealt a bad hand. And unfortunately, you get dealt the hand you get dealt, and you've got to make the most of it. Whether, you know, not everybody can be born into a rich family, and it would be lovely, but you know, I was born into very, you know, we didn't have a lot of money when I was a child, and that made me more determined to do well, because I didn't want to be around the place that I necessarily grew up. And you can take it two ways. You can either use it to inspire you to go further, or you can sit with a chip on your shoulder and go, well, the world owes me something. This is shit. Why didn't I get born into a family who makes, you know, who can give me everything?
I felt the same.
But we can't all be millionaires' children. So you've got to go out there and take it yourself.
That's life, and the sooner you get it, the better. So again, it sums it up, and that's why we have, you know, when you see to the older scripts and Havamål and things like that, it's common sense, you know. Read it, understand it, and live by it, because that's common sense, and it's as relevant now than ever, because we live in a society where we have welfare and a lot of things that we didn't have before. So when you were young, back in the days, you learned very early that we need to work to get food, you know. No one is going to help us, and that is, it's maybe more relevant today than ever, because this is common sense. So when you read into the sagas and about the gods, which are maybe just metaphors, but it's common sense that we need to know. It's relevant for the everyday human life. So just because our culture has changed doesn't mean that human nature has changed, you know. So human nature is probably, I think so at least, the same as it used to be, but the culture and the technology has come further and is a little different, but I don't think human nature has changed at all.
No, we're all still humans.
Yeah,
And I think we forget that, you know, people back 1,000 years ago, whilst, you know, they weren't dealing with the same things as us, because we have stuff now that didn't even exist. You know, it didn't exist back then, but there's still people, they still laugh, they still cry, they still feel pain, joy, and
still talk shit about each other. We can see that from the runic inscriptions found in Britain and Bergen, right? Sending text messages to each other with little, bones and like, you know, twigs and barks and stuff like that, with like, Carl is an asshole. You know,
I will make him a bastard forever by plucking his name into this stone.
Exactly.
That's it. I mean, yeah, I'm sure they still gossiped about each other, like you said.
Yeah, the technology nowadays has just changed. Now you can put it up on social media instead.
A lot more people can see it.
Yeah. But it's the same, you know. We have Colosseum, that was that time's social media.
Yeah. Oh, that, I think that, yeah, that's what Facebook is. It's just so much negativity.
Yeah,
everybody's complaining about.
We should stop focusing about the negativity and what we can do to make a change and to thrive, basically.
Yeah, I think there's value in negativity, unfortunately, whether it's through news and media sources that, you know, they know negativity gets people riled up, and that's what's going to get people to click on things. The positive stories don't get very much click, and that, you know, news companies make money from advertisement. So it's a sad place that's how it is, that we're just getting fed more and more negative news just because somebody's getting paid for it. And I wish,
but only up to a point, because I think people are quite tired of hearing about all the violence and the negativity, and, you know, what's in it for me. That is what people are saying. What's in it for me? Why should I care? So we should find something, at least that's my opinion, that is relevant for the community, the global community, if you want. So to stop this horror going on.
Yeah, I mean, I wish us three on this podcast could do that, but I don't think we have that much reach.
No,
not yet. Unfortunately.
No, yeah.
It starts with it. Everything starts in with the thought and one person.
That's it. Yeah. Hopefully we will get there. So, are you working on a new album now?
Yeah.
Do you have any time? Do you know when it's going to be ready, or is it still early stages?
I can spoil something, and that is we have or I have wrote a song about Heimdall, because Heimdall is a very fascinating character. He is associated with 9 mothers, which are probably sisters, and he's a guardian. He is a musician. He is a philosopher. He has so many qualities, and nobody talks so much about Heimdall, because he's there. You know, he's the, what they say, the pole. So everything is going around him. He's the pole, and I think he deserves more attention. So the next song that we are releasing is about Heimdall. So it's called Heimdallar Galdur.
Okay.
And to spoil a little bit more, it contains almost all of the instruments I know to play.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I feel like that sounds like it's going to be a lot.
Yeah. No, but it's not. I try to simplify it, because it's different sessions, you know. So in the end, I got the black metal part when Heimdall blows in his in the Jallarhorn. So I play the goat horn as Jallarhorn, and we float into a black metal sphere. So I use my knowledge of the different instruments to create a spectrum of different sounds. So I really look forward to it, and I use both the shaman drum, and we used regular drum kits as well. So we got all these different aspects of the song. So I'm very proud of this song. So we are still working on the lyrics, because we have a friend that knows Old Norse. So we want him to translate a part of the song. So it will be a mix of how we speak in our daily life, and Old Norse, and some directly from the Edda. So it I think it lasts about 10 minutes or so, the song.
Oh wow.
Nice.
I mean, it has to do to probably get all those instruments in.
Yeah.
I mean,
can't play them all at once. That's impossible.
Matthias, you've worked on a few songs.
Yeah.
You could help out with the lyrics.
I could, yeah.
Throwing you in the deep end live.
No, that's fine. I can translate lyrics.
Hey,
you can, like in Old Norse?
Yes, of course. I have a degree in Old Norse.
Yes, you're my man.
that's
we can
what
talk
you
after the show.
Make him commit live, and then he can't go back on it.
Since you put me on the spot anyway, there's also something else that I wanted to mention about Heimdall. Like, he's the most gangster of all the gods.
Yeah.
He's got the golden grills on his teeth.
Yeah.
We don't know what the reference is, like, but Snorri, he says it. He's got gold teeth. And I'm like, fuck yeah. Yeah.
Do you think maybe they were just yellow?
Maybe they were just yellow.
Yeah.
Just really
bad breath.
Yeah, I mean, gold's much more cooler though.
We scared the Jotner with all this bad breath.
That's it.
That's the true secret of him guarding Ausgarder.
Yeah.
How much do we know about him accurately?
Very little.
Yeah, very little. So Heimdall Galder is actually a poem that has existed, but I think, if I remember correctly, yeah, but I think there's like 1 or 2 stanzas that Snorri mentions, and the rest is gone.
Yeah, and that is the basic things we know about him being born out of 9 mothers and so on.
Yeah,
the basic things. So we think, at least I think, that Heimdall was a much more important god than we know. So I want to really dedicate one of my songs to him.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That's probably the case.
There's also something to be said for the name itself. Heimdall probably is a secondary name, that he had another name as well, and so like Heimdall is a covered way of referring to this particular god, and the scholars have like theorized if it's like Tyr or one of the other gods, and we really don't know, but it's a really interesting figure. As like a mythological figure, he's definitely one of the most interesting ones.
Definitely.
I'd love to know the actual split of people's interest in the gods, because obviously you get your big sort of 3, I guess, would be Odin, Loki, and Thor. Like, they're the one that I think like the average Joe has heard of. But I don't think that many people have heard of Odin, to be honest, because if I ring anyone up for something to do with the business, so many people who can't pronounce Odin, when you write it down, they're just like, what's that? Odin? So, but I think like obviously Thor is one that's universal. Everybody has heard of that. Yeah. And so I think so much focus probably gets put on those 3 that I'd love to know the actual interest in the others that we know very little about.
Well, that is the spark of interest, is that we don't know. and I still sometimes I really miss the times where when you were weirdo, when you were into Nordic mythology.
Me too, man. I remember those times.
Yeah. I sometimes really miss it, because then what are your jewelry? Is that what is that, the upside down cross? No, it's not an upside down cross. It's a wolf hammer or a Thor's hammer. You know, so but now everyone knows something about. Have you seen Vikings?
Yeah.
King Ragnar, you know. So
that's always one.
But of course, it's also good and exciting that it flourishes, and you don't get any names after you by being into it.
Yeah. The weirdo Viking guy over in the corner.
Yeah.
Okay, before we wrap up, we spoke a little bit about it before. You, in your Instagram and description, you have, or in your bio, you have wizard, and you have a really interesting perspective on this, I think, and I'd love you to share it, because we touched on it a little bit before.
Yeah, of course. Sorcery and wizardry, if you want, is about you having control of your reality, and by using specific symbols, specific music, specific clothing, specific perfumes, you go to specific places, specific rhythms, specific music. You have it all, and by creating a sphere around yourself, then you are creating your own reality, and by forming your own reality, it will at some point affect the universe or the cosmos, because we have the Ginun Gagap, you know, the whole nothingness. It's still there, in between the galaxies and in between everything, and there's a lot of space for you to create your own reality, because what did I say before? I said that the soul is a manifestation of biology and biological intelligence, if that makes sense to you. So you can change who you are and your soul, and then you attract reality towards you, because where you go and what you do in life is like you're swimming in space-time. You have to swim in the right directions, and that is sorcery, because then you attract the waves back to you, and you meet people who are on the same path. You meet business partners. In music, I met Sól through music, because I was diving in this direction. So that was me attracting my mate through this kind of sorcery. So by being aware of what you're doing all the time, what clothes you're having, what do you want to smell, how do you want to look, where do you want to go, what do you want to work with, everything is sorcery. So it's physical things that have substance, and the substance is the sorcery.
I think maybe I should have my students in my Scandinavian magic and witchcraft class listen to this episode.
I think that's such a brilliant way to put it. I really like that. And it's true. I think, you know, positivity breeds positivity around you as well. So if you can do things that make you feel good and put the right people around you, you know, you attract more people who are like you and are in that mindset, and it all kind of snowballs and goes together.
Intentionality, right?
Intentions, yes. That's and again, we have this common sense in the Old Norse scriptures, but packed in a different time. So we just have to unwrap it and adapt it to our own lives. So that is why the old wisdom is still important, because it has relevance still.
There we go. So we're gonna have to wrap this one up because we've got a Storytime episode to record after this.
Yeah.
And this episode hasn't been the most historical or Viking age based or Nordic mythology based, but fuck, it's been interesting. Like
if you read between the lines, it's very, very relevant.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
There is, this has been a really fun one for me. I really enjoy this, and I think we could probably sit here and speak for 3-4 hours, and still keep going. We went to a dark place in the middle there. Yeah, but I really enjoy this, and I think you and Sól will go very far. I think you really will. You're definitely an interesting fellow, and I definitely wish you all the best, and will support you both, because I have a lot of respect for people who just try so hard and just keep going, down the path, doing what you want to do, and you're making things happen. You're doing it yourself. If you don't have it, you're making sure you find a way to get it, and I have a lot of respect for that, because I've had to do that myself. So yeah, I think you will, and hopefully we can help you out with that.
Thank you very much for having me.
No problem.
It was a pleasure to talk to you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
And when the album does come out, hopefully you and Sól can come join us together, and we can
for sure
inside information on each of you from the other person.
For sure.
No, like I said, we got a lot of good feedback from the Sól episode, and I think again we will get the same with you, because this is like I say, I found this really interesting. It's one of the funniest episodes I think we've done. I've just had a smile on my face the whole time.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Do you want to let people know where they can find you, your music, your projects, just so that people can jump on and follow you?
Yeah, we are quite simple. My name is Varg Saastad, and I go under Varg Saastad on Instagram, and Våluspá, Våluspá band. It's quite easy to find, I think.
Yeah, so you can find it on Spotify. Really easy. That's where I sort of listen to your music.
Yeah.
And you have links from your Instagram handles as well.
I have.
There we go. Mathias, what about you? Where can people find you?
You can always find me on Instagram if you want to, see what I'm up to. It's usually a bunch of pictures of mountains. Sometimes it's also pictures of my drawings, and random stuff that I do in my daily life. And yeah, so go find me there, and we can connect. But please don't ask me to design any runic tattoos for you.
Do you get that a lot?
All the time. It's like, hey, can you just like blah 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 blah. I was like, do you know how many messages I get like that?
We should start charging for it.
Well, I mean, that's like I might have a future business idea.
A Patron level.
No, I'm gonna start tattooing people. Yeah, I'll design your runic tattoo. I'll tattoo it on you.
Yeah,
just need to find somebody to train me.
That's not a bad idea either.
Why do you think I draw so much?
Well, yeah, no, that's true. Okay, as well. So I mentioned we're recording a Storytime episode after this. You can get, if you want to listen to those, you can get them on our Patreon page. They are Patreon exclusive, but we do one every other week. So we're going through the Våluspá saga at the minute. We've done the first 2 episodes. This episode we've got Jonas Lorentzen coming in to narrate for us, and he's going to be reading the start of Sigurd the Dragon Slayer, which I'm really looking forward to. So we're going to record that right after this episode. So yeah, if you do want to listen to those episodes, just jump over onto our Patreon. If you support us on there, you get access to the old episodes, and then you can also watch any episode we do live, as well as get the back catalogue of everything. We have a couple of other rewards on there. If you want to follow us, it's just at Nordic Mythology Podcast on Instagram, Facebook. The website, nordicmythologypodcast.com. And if you enjoy the show, please leave a 5-star rating and a positive review, because it helps us bump up the charts. and visit the YouTube channel and hit subscribe. And I think I've got everything.
Long list.
Yeah, it's getting longer. It's getting longer.
We'll have to split it up between us at some point.
We will. We say that every week. Never happens. You just do yours and leave me to it.
Well, you haven't given me a manuscript to read, so
Well, I don't have one. I just go off the dome.
Damn.
That's good. Varg, thank you very much. Like I said,
Thanks for having me.
This was really interesting. I really enjoyed it, and thank you
thank
you for sharing your story with us. You know, it's obviously very personal, and you know, it's nice for you to have that awareness that your story can hopefully help other people.
Hopefully, yeah. That's
awesome.
that's my hope also.
And please go send Norway a wavy kiss from me. We've had so many Norwegians on lately, and I just like end up missing Norway after every episode.
Yeah, well, if you're ever in Norway, you guys, you are welcome to visit us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You said that live as well. We have not stopped recording yet. You all heard it.
I mean it.
Perfect. Okay, we're gonna have to wrap this one up. Thank you very much.